Today I played Jack Brooks Park, the Gulf Meadows course. There's two courses over there. This one's a little bit more clear. Hole 1, 205 feet, par 3. Easy shot into the woods. You got two main trees kind of guarding that gap. You can go through them, go around them. Make a pretty decent shot, get up by the hole. Able to birdie this one. It's a good start to the day. Hole 2, 280 feet, par 3. This one's got a tight gap you shoot through from out of the woods. I go over it. Not my best shot. It was more to the right than I like to be. It was pretty windy out there. So I switch from my mid-range and I go for a fairway driver. I figure I can just throw a kind of a hyzer and just drop it on in. It's an overstable fairway driver. I was able to drop it in pretty well for an easy par, even with the wind blowing as hard as it is. Hole 3 is 332 feet, par 3. I tend to struggle with this one probably more than any other hole in the course. You go about 150 feet through that gap. I make the gap. I hit a branch on the canopy and kind of slows my disc down. I end up going left into the woods. But I was able to make a pretty decent shot outside of it and was able to get a pretty easy par. Hole 4 is 192 feet, par 3. Really narrow gap you got to get it through. You can see all those trees down there in the gap. I usually bypass it and go over it with a tomahawk. I'm trying to work on my distance on my tomahawk. It's improving, could be better, but I was able to give myself a shot at this one. Just went a little behind the basket, or a little in front rather, and I was able to get an easy par after that shot. Hole 5 is one I probably birdie more than any other on this course other than hole 1. It's 237 feet, par 3, dog legs left. You just kind of got to get it in this gap. I throw a overstable fairway driver. I don't get the skip that I generally get to put me in that gap, so I'm kind of shooting probably about 35 feet. I didn't really give myself a chance with that putt. I was able to sink an easy par, but that's one I'm always hoping to birdie. Hole 6 is 346 feet. It's a par 3. It goes around these trees on the right. They kind of hang over, so you kind of got to go under. I usually throw an anhyzer. The wind kind of stalled this one out. Usually I can land on top of this hill that I'm shooting from, but I'm on the bad side of the hill. I'm throwing a putter here. I throw a pretty decent shot. You can't see it too well, but it puts me close enough to the pin where I can get an easy par. Hole 7 is a long par 3. It's 400 feet. A straight shot. I'm throwing into headwind on this one, so I should have gone more nose down than I did. So it kind of just takes off, stalls, and ends up right in the middle. It was an overstable, heavier disc. Throw a fairway driver again here, hoping to repeat what I did on 2, but I just don't get it right. I didn't have the runway on the right to kind of hyzer it in, so I got a longer putt than I wanted to. In the wind, I get my first bogey here. Hole 8 is 311 feet. It's a par 3. You got to get through two trees on the left and the right. You got to get through that gap, and it's 300 feet down there. I go way higher than I should. Somehow it gets through the trees. It actually turns into a pretty decent shot. I'm able to birdie this one pretty easily. Hole 9 is 243 feet. It's a par 3. You got to go about 200 feet before you get into the woods. Then you go about 50 feet into the woods where the pin is. You just got to hit that gap. Unfortunately, I go about 15 feet left of the gap. You're going to be able to see kind of where I am. It's manageable. I just kind of got to lean out. But I'm able to get my second shot up there by the pin, close enough to get an easy par. Now at this point it's getting pretty hot in the day, so I take my hoodie off. Hole 10 is 249 feet. It's par 3. Kind of got a blind shot out of the woods, and it goes right, and then it's got to go into this gap. It's pretty hard to find this disc, but I found it. It was kind of up in that tree on the left. I kind of shook it out. Pretty windy conditions out there going into that gap, but I completely missed my putt. Totally birdieable hole. I get my easy par. Hole 11, you shoot out of the woods, 324 feet, it doglegs right, par 3. On this one, kind of the same situation as earlier. I went a little too high, it stalled out. When it came back left, it almost went backwards, back towards me. So I was further than a pin than I'd like to be. I throw a putter on this one. Didn't really do what I wanted it to do. I'm kind of frustrated. In a windy day, you don't really want to putt this far. And I missed my putt. I jerk up that disc out of disgust. You can see how windy it is. My camera just fell. A very, very windy day. On U-Disc it said it was 2 miles per hour, but that was probably the windiest conditions I've ever seen out there. Alright, so this one's a par 4. It's 456 feet straight away, throwing straight into the wind. So I just try to go as far as I can. I didn't get very far. It's in the middle of the fairway though. I wish it would have been closer to the pin because the wind is just ripping out there. Didn't give myself much of a shot with the putt. Was able to get a clean par though. Hole 13 is 446 feet, par 4 again. This one you go through a couple of trees and there's a little gap in the woods, but the pin's really not far in the gap. You just gotta, you don't want to end up in the left of the wood, the left of the pin or to the right of the pin. Here I'm throwing for that gap. And I'm just shy of it, skips left, but I got a decent look at the pin here. Just can't connect the putt. Same thing as earlier, and I was able to par the hole. Hole 14 is 363 feet, par 3. You gotta go straight down, then it hooks left at the very end in the pin. This one, I got some pretty decent distance. I just wish I'd have been closer to the gap. Maybe would have had a chance at this, but I gave myself the best shot I could. It got through the trees. It was a tough line, but I was able to get the par on that 360 footer. Hole 15 is a 274 foot par 3. You got 3 rows of trees. You pretty much got 2 gaps you got to go through. I kind of make my own gap, go way too high through the trees, and ended up in a pretty good spot. Kind of awkward. I throw a putt, I think it's in, it bounces out. Frustrated. Easy par. Now we're going into the woods. This one's a 182 foot par 3, straight shot, low ceiling, woods on left, woods on right. I throw it down the middle. I hit the one tree down there and it kind of stops me. If you go low and try to skip it in, those roots usually mess you up. I was able to get an easy birdie on that one. Hole 17 is very similar, 242 feet, par 3. Just kind of hooks left. I do a terrible job, hit the trees. It goes down in the mud right there. I'm in the middle of the fairway at least. So I got a clean look at it. Throw my putter. Would like my shot to be closer than that on an open look, but I'm able to get the par. Hole 18 is 284 feet, it's a par 3, dog legs right through the woods. Got a narrow path. I can usually hit this line, and I do this time. It sneaks through, goes across the creek at the end, and I'm just kind of barely on or off the green, I'm not sure. But with that wind, I am completely unable to hit my putt for the birdie and end up with a par for hole 18. All in all, it was a good day. I got some thorn bushes that attacked me, but ended up 1 under. Pretty happy with that. 3 birdies on the day, 2 bogeys. The rest were all pars. Total was a 55. You can see there it says 2 mile per hour winds, which is just ridiculous because it was 20 miles per hour, easy. But all in all, good day.